Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukak Wadash. Double honors to elder apostles, the great millstone, and taught me this truth. And salutations to all you sincere laborers out there pushing this truth in all sincerity and faith and honesty. Alright, before I begin this lesson, I would like to thank Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright, Ba'ashem Rukak Wadash for giving me the spirit to do another video. Alright, I'm that fellow servant Kanakala coming at you once again from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida. Alright, I'm just here to feed the elect. All right, watching these prophecies, as you can see here. The title says, "Fasten your seatbelts for a wild fall on Wall Street." All right, so the stock market, is getting ready to collapse. I don't know when. All right, and I'm not saying it's gonna fall soon, but Lord's will. All right, but it's gonna be some shaking in the markets due to the trade war, so on and so forth, the tariffs. All right, the sanctions, these other countries outside of the U.S. are making moves to pretty much not have to deal financially with the U.S. All right, so this eventually will crash the stock market. All right, it's a video here. I'm going to play this real quick. It might be some ads, so I might pause it until the ads are done with. Let's see if it loads. If it don't load, I'll continue on reading the article. Alright, I think it's ready to play now.
Sometimes all it can take is one single tariff to start a trade war. When a government imposes a new tariff, other countries sometimes tend to raise their tariffs in retaliation. That can lead to further tariffs, which can lead to further tariffs, and, well, you get the idea. But let's just talk about one tariff, the chicken tariff. In the 1960s, the Europeans were being inundated with cheap American chickens. Demand for that cheaper chicken skyrocketed, and so Europe, in order to protect their chicken farms, placed a tariff on the American chickens. One thing is certain, though. Trade wars bring unintended consequences. So it all started with the Europeans' humble chicken tariff, but then the Americans responded with their tariffs on dexedrine, brandy, and some trucks and cargo vans. While the chicken tariff eventually went away, and so did the retaliatory brandy and dexedrine ones, the automobile ones stuck. They remain to this day, and they're credited with the rise of American car manufacturers' dominance of the truck industry. But some critics say that tariff-supported dominance has sheltered and protected American companies who haven't been forced to innovate. So what started with chicken ends up inadvertently affecting automobile engineering 5 decades later. Another trade war reality? Loopholes. Companies and countries can creatively avoid some tariffs. This is the Ford Transit Connect. Now, Ford is an American company, but this van is made in Turkey, so it would be subject to the cargo van tariff. But, at least until a few years ago, Ford figured out that if they imported these vans with seats in the back, they could just call them passenger vans and pay a much smaller tariff. Once they made it stateside, they'd strip out the back seat, take out the window, and sell it as a cargo van and pay no chicken tax. U.S. Customs has since cracked down on Ford's van shenanigans. But with every new tariff comes opportunities to get around them. So what happens in a trade war? Just give it like 50 years.
Alright, as you can see, there are ways to avoid tariffs. Alright, and China and these other countries are avoiding tariffs by not using the U.S. currency, man. As you can see, once one tariff starts, it starts this whole big shenanigans, so to say, man, and it's not good for either side. It's mutual assured destruction. But that's why these countries are making moves, okay, to pretty much so they don't have to deal with the U.S. no more. All the products that they get imported from.
What's the best way to measure?
All right. They're making moves so they don't have to deal with the U.S. anymore. They're using other countries, like, so you got the BRICS, nations. All right, their resources, they're all getting together and buying from one another and keeping the U.S. out, all right, out of their business, so to say. All right, this is it says, fasten your seatbelts for a wild fall on Wall Street. Caution ahead, buckle up. The ride on Wall Street could get bumpy this fall. From the trade war with China, the oil sanctions on Iran, to the midterm election, there should be plenty of market drama in the coming months. All right, so, us brothers here, like Elder Tahar, deemed this the year of prophecy. All right, so, hey, Lord's will, this stock market crash, Lord's will, this thing gets popping off this year. All right, it says that's not to mention President Donald Trump's legal troubles, which appear to be deepening by the day. It's not likely to be quite 10-year anniversary of the 2018. It's like it of the 2008 financial crisis, and we all remember what happened in 2008, man. I mean, I wasn't that old. I'm a young man myself, but I was able to see the recession, man. The prices of things went up. Gas, for instance, man, it was a very difficult time. A lot of people lost businesses. I talk to people right now today at my job, Edomites, all right, so-called white people at my job that lost their businesses all the way back in 2008. Okay, so it says the time around the market, the economy are entering fall from a position of strength. All right, so the economy is like it says, is entering fall from a position of strength. It says the S&P 500 climbed to an all-time high on Friday, leaving it just 4% away from 3,000. The Dow isn't far from its first record since late January. And of course, they manipulate these numbers. It says, but just below the surface, obstacles abound. The biggest source of turbulence this year is one with the potential to cause a recession. All right, so Lord's will, that happens, man. So we can get up out of here. It says the trade war between the United States and China. Trump imposed 25% tariffs last week on another 16 billion of Chinese goods, and Beijing immediately retaliated. All right. It says Washington has vowed to move forward with tariffs on another 200 billion of goods. China has said it would hit back, but it's running out of American imports to tax. All right, because America doesn't import much to China. All right. China imports over 200 billion products to the U.S., but the U.S. only imports only, I believe, 120 billion. All right, so China can go up to 120 billion. All right, can only tax their products up to 120 billion. All right, so China has to find another way, all right, to pretty much to target the U.S. Okay. It says the good news is that both sides are talking. Yeah, that's what they say. It says leaving hope for a breakthrough. China's commerce ministry said on Friday the talks held in Washington last week were constructive and candid, and both sides will stay in touch. All right, and I'm going to show you why there will be no good news out of this. All right, because we're talking about the stock market here, right? This is how your stock market started right here. All right, the Empire State, New York. This is where your empire started, selling slaves, man. So this stock market, this is the beginning, the birth of this stock market, man. Selling so-called Negroes. That's why the Lord is bringing this place down. He's plaguing this place. All right, look at this. Just read the title of this. You can look this stuff up yourself. All right, the Lord is bringing this place down. There will be no healing to this place. All right, the stock market will not rebound, so to say. It says that Wall Street was a slave market before it was a financial center. So look into that. All right, this place is not going to rebound, man. Going back to this, it says so pretty much forget this stock market, man. Forget the Wall Street. All right, it was funded off of the slaves, man. All right, the bloodshed and slavery, all right, and hard work of the so-called blacks, man, in this country. All right, so to hell with the stock market. All right, it says recession warning flashing yellow. The trade fight threatens to heat up inflation while simultaneously slowing growth. So it's going to heat up inflation. All right, so your products, your day-to-day products, your victuals that you buy, all right, your gallon of milk, $2 to $3. I don't drink dairy, so I don't know how much a gallon of milk costs. But the price of that is going to go up. You're gonna start seeing the price of milk, eggs, bread. You're gonna see that start to go up in price, man. All right, it says by simultaneously slowing the growth, okay, muddying the picture of the Federal Reserve. The U.S. Central Bank is debating whether to hike interest rates twice more this year, an outcome that would draw the ire of Trump, who has repeatedly attacked Fed Chief Jerome Powell. The Fed's rate hikes have also helped fuel storms in emerging markets like Turkey and Argentina. Even though the U.S. economy is strong, Powell is surely aware of the yellow lights flashing in Wall Street's favorite recession indicator. The yield curve, the difference between the 2-year and 10-year Treasury rates, hit a post-financial crisis low last week. The flattening yield curve signals concerns that the Fed may be raising rates too quickly, all right, because they're raising the rates trying to help this place, all right, but you're raising them too quickly, man. All right, it says before almost every recession, a yield curve has inverted, meaning short-term rates are higher than long-term rates. All right, so when you raise interest rates, all you're doing is putting a band-aid on the problem. All right, you're kicking a can down the road. That's all you're doing. All right, you haven't solved the problem. It says, meanwhile, the Trump administration's oil sanctions on Iran are scheduled to go in effect early November. So that's beautiful, man. Hey, Lord's willing, man, this year, or the beginning of next year, this place goes down. It says the loss of barrels from the world's 5th biggest crude producer will put further pressure on already thin oil market. OPEC could be forced to act when it meets in Vienna in early December. And then there's politics, which, as 2016 showed, is the ultimate wild card. No one knows exactly how Trump's legal turmoil will affect the midterms, but recent polls suggest Democrats have a good shot at retaking the House. That raises a specter of impeachment proceeding against Trump. But Trump was warned his impeachment would crash the market. While a crash seems far-fetched, impeachment talk is yet another obstacle on the road ahead. All right, and this is just Economy Watch. The government releases a second estimate of second quarter economic growth on Wednesday. The first reading showed a 4.1% growth rate, best in 4 years. All right, but here it is. All these countries go to show you that the stock market is all fixed, man. All right, when you bet on stocks, all right, when you buy and sell and trade in the stocks, it's all fixed, man. All right, it's all fixed. There's a formula, man, that they use. Okay, so all these numbers, all right, growth, all right, they're doing nothing but people invest their money and then they bring the market down, and the rich, only people that benefit from is the rich, man. All right, the rest of the people suffer. It says Spoiled Soup, all right, Campbell Soup reports earnings on Thursday and expected to wrap up a review of its troubled business. So Campbell Soup, the CEO stepped down in May, all right, and the stock is down 25%. This year, the board could eventually recommend a sale of the company. All right, so companies are feeling this economic turmoil, man. It says Whiskey Woes, Jack Daniels owner Brown-Forman reports earnings on Wednesday. The company has said it could be hurt by the trade war and retaliatory tariffs from the EU on bourbon and other alcoholic beverages. Coming this week, iHeartMedia earnings. Tuesday, Best Buy, H&R Block, Tiffany earnings, U.S. home prices for June. All right, and Eurozone Friday, Eurozone unemployment for July. Okay, so Lord's will, man, the stock market crash, man, pretty soon. All right, I'm gonna just get some scriptures. This is James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, howl. It's like you weep, howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. All right, your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. All right, your riches are corrupted. You know, going back to, you know, as I stated earlier in this lesson, your riches are corrupted. Your riches came from selling slaves. All right, selling slaves. All right, your riches are corrupted. Separating the families. You have a family there, their mother and their children. You separate the families, sell them off, and you're making 100% profit, man. Because you didn't have to pay the slaves money. All right, you didn't pay them for their labor. It was free labor, 400 plus years of free labor. All right, so and according to the scriptures, you're supposed to take care of your slaves, man. All right, you're supposed to pay people for their labor. You didn't pay them, man. All right. So it says your riches are corrupted, your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Okay, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the higher the laborers who have reaped down your fields, all right, you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, all right, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of the Sabbath oath. All right, so the Lord hear our crying and our sign over here in the land of our captivity. All right, because we are still slaves until this day. All right, that's why we have a social security number. All right, that's why we have to file taxes. We got to see what we're worth, how much money we bring in. All right, how much money we bring in every year. But the part about it is now the so-called white man has enslaved and taxed his own people. All right, you modern day commoners, you peon Americans that walk and work the same 9 to 5s as these blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that work at the same jobs we work at. All right, your top elites have enslaved you as well. That's the only difference. Okay. It says, yea, you have lived in pleasure on the earth, and they have, you so-called white people have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and doth not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of our Lord. Behold, the husband waited for the precious fruits of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he have received the early and latter rain. All right. And this to you, brothers, be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. All right, so the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Remember that, brothers. Fasten your seatbelts for a wild fall on Wall Street, man. All right, so the Lord is plaguing this place, bringing it down. Okay, bringing this place down. Lord's will, man, this economy collapses. All right, and we get the hell up out of America. The Lord come back and deliver us. All right, death and destruction is coming to America. All right, due to these trade wars and all these wars, all right, these other nations will begin to shoot nuclear missiles upon this place in this next Third World War. All right, and we that be found worthy of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, also you of confusion of face that may look like the other nations. All right, the Lord is going to deliver us out of here. All right, with that, man, I'm going to say shalom.